Greetings, captains. It's Admiral Revan here. Hope you're doing well. And well, crikey, it's we're getting close to the end of August already, and it's starting to warm up here. And winter season is actually starting to wrap down here. Oh boy! So with winter season wrapping up, and we got spring season coming up in September. As you can notice, it was starting to warm up, and this is great. But speaking about that though, there's a bit of a heated up subject that's come into the World of Warships community about 12.7, and a lot of people have loved or hated or both or mixed in between about it regarding to this topic here that we're going to be talking about it in this video. So we'll be talking about more about the trade-in function for World of Warships and discussing it in more detail, whether it's a good thing or bad thing, and discuss it as we go in this video. Now, first and foremost, that in this video that I will be honest about this, that when I first saw the trade-in function, I had mixed feelings about it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great opportunity. And honestly, I was looking forward to it, but at the same time, I was a bit disappointed. So we'll talk more about that in this video. So as you go to the armory, you see the trade-in exchange old ships, and you see the icon on the side here, and basically you just click on show. All right. So when we come on here, from the website side of things or in game, you'll see the armory with this function, and you look at it going, okay, cool, and it lists a bunch of ships that you got there. Okay, now there are some rare warships that there's in the game that had been removed from the game, like for example the Georgia, the Smolensk are good examples here, that you can trade them to a different warship, but you can't get them back, and that's a bit of a con. So for example, if I were to trade the Smolensk to get, like for example, the Yoshino or the Kaga, as soon as you click exchange, you can't get the Smolensk back. So you have to be very, very careful with that decision making. Another good example is the Georgia, a rare American tier 9 battleship, very good back in the day, and you want to trade in for, like, say for example, a Yoshino, which you can pay an extra 17,325 doubloons for, or downgrade it to a Kaga or Bayard, for example, or any of the ships that you got listed available to you, and then take it from there. But in all seriousness though, the biggest question I have to ask you is that why on earth would you want to trade a rare warship that's now unobtainable in game unless you waited for a specific event like Christmas, Black Friday, for example, or special events? And in all seriousness though, take my advice, don't trade in a very rare warship to get a vessel that is still obtainable in the game to this day, that you can either buy with real life currency or with coal or with doubloons. Now for example, the Salem is a good example in this trade-off. So the Salem is a coal warship, as you know. It still exists in this day in the armory. So first and foremost, my best advice is that you jump onto another, either your web page or jump into the armory in game and have a quick look and type in the word Salem. Now Salem is a coal warship, and you go like, okay, yada yada yada, and then you go scroll down and you go for coal here, and you look down in the menus here and you see column is still available, 240k coal. Now when you see that, you go like, all right, so if I were trading in an existing coal warship for a doubloon warship that I'd like to play or have, and it's actually good to obtain through that way. Let's just say for example though, like instead of getting, like say the Salem, let's just say Like, let's go tier 8 Rochester, for example. And we're going to trade in for, like, the Bayard. So you pay for, you know, the doubloon difference, right? And then the Rochester becomes available. Check if the Rochester first is available still in the armory. So you go like Rochester. Okay, so you can obtain it through that way. And also another way of obtaining it is obviously through the premium shop online. You go to the ship category, select tier 8, and then type in Rochester. There's the Rochester there, so you can actually buy that right still. So that's good to know. It's still available in game. Okay, so do not ever sell a rare warship, like trade it in for a current warship that is still available in game. Now I will give you a bit of a story here that not too long ago, and I still shudder to this day, that one of my viewers told me that they traded in the Missouri, for example, and traded in for the Kaga, and I actually almost screamed because of that. I actually spoke to this person off stream, and I just said that, look, why did you trade in an old rare warship like the Missouri for the Kaga? And they gave me some good reasons, and I thought it was fair enough. But you know, like, if a rare warship is very hard to obtain in game, I would not trade the Missouri for an existing warship. I would keep the Missouri, and as a prime example of a very rare warship that you have earned your stars and stripes in terms of gaining it. And in all seriousness though, having a unique ship like the Missouri in your port is just as good as like having like the Smolensk or the Georgia or any other vessel in the fleet, because it's I consider to be a very unique item. So that's actually, you know, very nice to have. But yeah, so that's a very good example of trade-off right there. Okay, so the pros about having these trade-offs, well, let's just say that if you're bored with a particular ship and you want to play that particular vessel, it's nice to have. So that's good, you know, in some ways. Sometimes that if you have to pay currency, you know, like in terms of doubloons, for example, just to have that ship, it's a little bit rough on you. And as you can notice that you can trade for tier 8 to tier 8 if you wanted to, but you have to pay with doubloons. And if your doubloons you got available for you. If you don't want that option though, I mean, like, you can always downgrade it. But like to the Duke of York, for example. Oh wow, okay. But that one is a very interesting one, because they actually want to pay for doubloons for a tier 7 from a tier 8 cruiser. Let's try and see if I can find a different, better example here. So let's just say, for example, like if I want to trade in, I don't know, let's see. Let's go with a tier 9A gear. And I want to trade in for the Duke of York. It's like 300, wow. Or 1500. Huh, this is weird, because like it's actually funny though that when I'm seeing that, it's like it feels like that if you're got a higher end tier ship, that regardless of class, there's some classes that you don't have to pay and some classes you do. In all seriousness though, it should be free when you trade in from ship to ship. In all honesty, that's a bit of a pro and con there. The con part that I've been finding is that if you have like a cruiser that's tier 9 and you want to trade it off to either a battleship or a carrier, there's the costing involved, so that's a bit annoying. Let's just see if I can get, let's say, a battleship. Where's a battleship? Let's go with Giuseppe Verde. And let's just say I'm going to trade in for a battleship. Battleship, no. Carrier, no. Wow, there's some things you pay for. What the hell? So different nations you have to pay for? This is messed up. So Cold Warship to tier 8 for the Salem, for example, is that you pay nothing. But if you go tier 8 10 to tier 10 like the Yoshino, and even though the Yoshino is a Cold Warship and a doubloon, well, doubloon is it? No, Cold Warship only. And also you can get through real life money if you wanted to. I'm pretty sure you can get the Yoshino with real life money. No, I believe you can't. Yeah, you can't. So basically that is a good example of, you know, a cold warship should have been free 1-to-1. But if you want to get like a tier 10 sailor and trade it in for tier 9 or 8, well, you know, there's some costing involved here. I mean, like, that's a bit messed up, that's for sure. Oh well, either way. Let's just show you a good example of, say, a rare warship that you haven't seen in a long time. Let's just say, for example, what's a rare ship that I would love to obtain on the NA server, for example? Let's just see. I believe it's the Enterprise. Okay, so on Asia server for me, I got the Enterprise. Okay, so notice that there's the Enterprise. Okay, now let's just say, for example, that on the NA server, I'll go to my same armory, and I'm gonna go trade in. Let's pick the Max Element. It's a tier 10 German Cold Warship. Now I'm looking for any tier 8s. So as you can see here, I don't see the Enterprise mentioned at all. Now let's just say, for example, I'm going to grab the Kearsarge and see if that's obtainable as well for the Enterprise. No. Let's just pick a random tier 8. Let's go with the Kid and try to get the Enterprise. No. So pretty evident that if there's a rare warship that's not in the game and that you can get with coal, doubloons, or real life money, it pretty much doesn't exist. So do not sell unique warships. Take my advice. I strongly advise you, do not sell unique warships and trade in for a new ship, especially like a Georgia, Splence, Alaska, Massachusetts, Kronstadt, even the Missouri. But yeah, that's definitely, you know, taken into consideration here. So if you're wanting to get a warship that you feel that you want to keep and you want to get back at any time, trade in a coal warship. That's the best way to do it. Trade in any of the coal ships. Go to the armory, check out what is the coal ships that you got available. And the best way to do it is go to ships, coal, have a look what's available, and then you go like, right, I'm gonna go shopping with my coal ships, trading in to get, you know, a doubloon warship on the house from Wargaming, and you can always buy back in twofold with your, you know, in-game currency, and technically that was the best free trade-off right there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much a bit of a pro and con in behind the trading function. But yeah, folks, in summary, if I were to say that if this is going to be becoming a more regular thing for World of Warships, in my opinion, if wargaming was to bring in the trade-in function on a regular basis for us to use, I think it's good. But it gives, like, as an event, like one-off, like this. Like, for example, once every 12 months, you have this, and you go like, okay, cool. You know, like, you get to trade in your warship and have fun and enjoy it and do whatever you like, right? So you can do whatever you like. But I would not trade in any of the rare warships I would have in order to get something I want. You see, Christmas containers, for example, when it comes, it is a very special, unique event, and you can get a very unique warship. Any unique warship like Smolensk, Georgia, Alaska, Massachusetts, Missouri, I'm just throwing out names here, but anything that is being made available in the past history in terms of the Christmas containers for World of Warships, I wouldn't want to miss that opportunity. And here's a good example of a list that you could get anything from last year's event. So, you know, when I think back, you know, like all these rare ships that have been removed from the game, that, you know, you can get, as you can see that, you know, some of these are, you know, obtainable, some of them are not. But, you know, definitely look at, you know, for the rare ships. And basically, just remember, don't get rid of the rare ships. Just keep them, you know, just keep them. Enjoy them as much as you can. Anything that you got, you know, from either the premium shop or Cole, trade them off. That's the easiest, best way to do it. At least you know you can get them back. But if Wargaming were to tell you, say for example, next month, when they're going to remove certain ships again, just remember that there's a bit of a pro and con behind that too. That's all it is. But yeah, folks, stay safe, take care, but definitely do not trade in your old unique warships for the existing warships as are still available in the game. That is the only pro and con behind this. But yeah, enjoy the event though. If Wargaming were to bring this back on a regular basis, it will be not bad to be as like a yearly thing, like once a year, every 12 months. If it's permanent though, the problem with permanent though is that not all warships, you know, like can be made available for everybody. So just keep that in mind. Like on my EU account, for example, I was trying to get the Scharnhorst to trade in, and I couldn't do it. I had to buy the Scharnhorst deliberately through doubloons. That was the only way around it. So that was a bit of a downside, but you know, a pro and a con. That's all it is. But yeah, that's just my final thoughts, folks. But yeah, take care, stay safe, folks. And, yeah, if you think about it, there's a bit of a good thing and bad thing about this though. Until then, stay safe, take care, have a good one.